Jesus Christ!
For
Oh
the
my
mics.
God, that would have been
good catch.
I would have just cried. I've done that 100 times. All right, you ready?
You know what I've done? I had a video going for an instructional. The whole thing was in fucking slow-mo.
Oh, dude.
It destroys the memory card.
All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, back again.
Off we go.
All right.
So am I officially old then? I'm in the old man.
You're a fan. I would never tell you that, Matt, but
43. All right. That's what 43 is. It's all good.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again back to another installment of the Old Man Grappling Hour. It's been a little time off. I've been busy. Got my gym opened up. Lots of things have been happening in the future, but we are back again, and this time we have a roving studio. We're no longer in the beautiful $1 million studio space. That it was definitely not a cargo area storage unit in Brandon. But we're back. We're at my house. Got my dog. And our first guest upon return is one of my favorite guys in Jiu Jitsu, Mr. Charles Harriot. Charles is great dude, friend of mine, known him for a very long time. He travels the world, one of the jiu-jitsu globe trotters, teaching private lessons, teaching seminars. Someone that I truly think exemplifies what the jiu-jitsu culture is all about. So Charles, thank you very much for joining the show. What have you been up to, brother?
Thank you for having me. So Kevin, I've been up to a lot of things. It's been an interesting time in making little transitions in my life. So as you know, since about 2018, I was wandering the earth, so to speak, teaching jiu-jitsu, training jiu-jitsu, just kind of
like Kane, just
exactly. I wanted to get in, just like Jules from Pulp Fiction. I want to wander the earth, get into adventures. Yeah, that's been the life since about 2018. Obviously, COVID happened in 2020. Lockdown happened, and then came out of that. Had a new girlfriend. We started traveling together, and that's kind of been the life for these years, wandering around doing jiu-jitsu, coming back to Florida, wandering around again. But since November, I've been inside of the U.S. And we're now in, June? So that's probably the longest stint I've had not leaving the country since COVID. So it doesn't sound like that long, but for me, it's the longest I have. I've still been traveling, been doing some more domestic seminars, went to Portland recently. I'm actually flying out to Louisville right after this to go teach a seminar over at Rough Hands Jiu-Jitsu. So shout out to those guys out there. But the shift has been, I'm gonna be getting married and I wanna have kids. I wanna have a more regular life, and I don't wanna be like an absentee father. I wanna be around for my family. So the shift is, how do I find a way to still do what I love, but be able to be in one place longer, so that as I build my family, I can be in a single location more often?
I think the answer to that is going to be opening a gym up for you. I think that that's going to work the next phase in your life. And I think that we figure out a way to get you there. And I think that that's something that is, I think you, more than anyone, deserves to have that stability of to have your own gym, to have some money and to have cash flow coming in. And right now jiu-jitsu has exploded to a point of madness. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. We've been doing jiu-jitsu for close to 20 years now.
Yeah.
And to see this growth, everyone's making a buck out of it, and you deserve to make your buck out of it and have stability. So I think we need to get you
That's definitely an option on the table. The option I've taken so far has been, I help out at my buddy's gym, Gainesville Rising Tide Jiu-Jitsu. So I help out at his gym. But what I've been really enjoying doing a little more of has been leaning into the Patreon stuff. Mm-hmm. I have a Patreon with different levels, and kind of realizing who I end up helping. Because in the beginning, right, everyone says, for BJJ fanatics, they say, you're making videos for the blue belts. That's really what they say when I've made instructionals with them, is that most of the people that are buying instructionals are blue and purple belts, and they're But what I realized with my Patreon, a lot of the people that sign up for my Patreon at the top level are other black belts who either are aging and don't want, the natural enemy of the older black belt is the under 30 brown belt. We were talking about that. Like the under 30 brown belt is like our natural predator. Or even just black belts who aren't having that problem, but are just kind of getting bored, right? Like they've been at it 10 years, 20 years, and they still enjoy it, but being able to help them find ways to continue enjoying jiu-jitsu as things change as they age. And so the Patreon thing has been fun. Still have instructions on Fanatics, and then otherly like shifting how I travel. Right. So I'm not going to give up on travel entirely, but while it used to be that like Natasha and I would head over to Europe and puddle jump and just be there for months on end, now instead it's we stay at home most of the time, but then we're going to be gone to like Portland for 11 days and then we come home. Or like we're going to be going off to Iceland for a week and then come home. So it's just the trips are now shorter so that we can still feel like we live in our hometown. Whereas before, it was always a joke where my friends would call me and be like, "What country are you in?" They'd assume that I'm not at home. Like my friends did not ever assume that they'd be able to just come see me. Whereas now it's the opposite, where I live in my house now, which is kind of nice, but still having some adventures.
So here's a quick question for you, because it's funny that, what you described is probably every 30-year-old's dream.
I was about that age when I started.
What do you mean? I'm going to travel the world and teach jiu-jitsu and hang out with cool people and cool places, like-minded people in the jiu-jitsu community. What are some of the downsides of that lifestyle? Because everything wears on you, and I imagine after a while, even that, as amazing as it sounds, starts to become a pain in the ass.
So that's the interesting part. Like, one thing that doesn't wear on me is the teaching. Like, it's kind of been a cool thing. I've been teaching martial arts since I was 13. I used to teach karate, been teaching jiu-jitsu since as soon as my coach would let me. I think I was like a blue belt helping with fundamentals and stuff. But the teaching never gets old. Like, I've never not enjoyed teaching a class. I mean, sometimes the kids' class might be a little rambunctious, a little hard, but especially teaching adults, I don't think I've had even one adult class I've taught that wasn't great. I love teaching class. It might not be up to my standards because I got crazy high standards for myself, but I've never had a time when it wasn't fun. What does wear sometimes is like, for example, you own a gym. You've had a gym now for 5 years going on?
It'll be 5. We just had our 4th year anniversary. We got one more year to 5.
Yeah. So because you have a gym, you can think in your head right now of people that have been with you for those 4 years, who they are now and who they were 4 years ago. And you get to watch that progress, right? Like, they're your students, right? They're Gracie Trinity students, and you get to see them and you get to acknowledge them with promotions. You get to watch their journey. The way I describe it is, I am almost nobody's main coach. I am everybody's side coach. I am kind of the jiu-jitsu side piece of instructors. And so like, I get to come to town, or like the other way I used to say is like, I'm not anybody's jiu-jitsu daddy. I'm your jiu-jitsu uncle. I come to town, I show you some cool stuff, and then I leave, and whatever I did to you is your parents' problem. And so like, and that's fun, and I've really enjoyed it. I've made some really cool friends, but the downside is like, very few of these students do I really get to hang around with and like kind of nurture their growth and like have them be my students. And like, I never really needed that. Like, I don't need to claim people. Like, I think the kind of little quasi-culty ownership of your students is a little weird in jiu-jitsu. But I also think that being able to watch and be like, wow, you should have seen what that guy was like 3 years ago, or that girl was like 2 years ago. Like, she's unrecognizable. And like, look at the impact.
I will tell you that, as a gym owner, that is probably one of the greatest parts of it. And it's not even just, the idea of their jiu-jitsu growth. It's the idea of their personal growth, because to me, jiu-jitsu is always a metaphor for life.
Yeah, it's a vehicle.
It's always a vehicle for making you a better person. Anyone that can put the work in to get a purple belt or a brown belt, or even a blue belt, and get past all that bullshit in order to do that, like, it's going to change you. And watching people grow is more than just teaching them how to fight or teaching them to be good competitors or whatever reason, getting them to lose weight, just watching them become better people through jiu-jitsu. And when you're doing it as the side piece, you don't really get the credit. And not saying that the credit is important, but there's a certain part of me that goes, wow, like I am somewhat responsible for that. You don't get that. Nope. You just get the other sides of it.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm still happy for him. So it's kind of a cool thing because I've been to so many places. There's plenty of people that maybe I've taught them 2 or 3 times, or in some, like there's some habitual BJJ Globetrotter students that I've seen them probably like 5 or 10 times because they go to a bunch of camps. And watching their growth, I get to see it remotely. And I guess another kind of upside is there's people who are in awkward situations where they live in very remote locations, and so they don't have a coach. And so I get to kind of be their surrogate coach, and that's kind of fun. There's a team of students in Germany right now, my buddy Max, where like they don't have a coach in their town. So that they'll travel an hour or half an hour to other towns to train with other people, but they also do remote seminars with me. And it's been really cool watching them grow. And so like he told me, he's like, yeah, I had taught a seminar to him at my friend's gym in Zwickau. And they're from like a town, I think like an hour away. And they came to it and they enjoyed my guillotine seminar and they bought my leg lock instructional. He split it up. He turned the instructional into like effectively a 10-week course. And then him and his guys went and used it and won a tournament. That was awesome. That was awesome to find out that I could have that impact. So I guess I like knowing that I had an impact, even if it's not getting to see the impact day to day. I see the big jumps, right? I don't see, you see the slow steps, or you see that moment
right
where your student makes the breakthrough, right? It's kind of like, to use the analogy of family, right? Because I want to stay at home to see my family. You get to see the first steps. You get to see the first time they fall, the first time they run. Me being someone who's away from the people that I teach most of the time, I'm there and they're crawling. I come back and they're jogging. I come back and they're in school. Like I get these big jumps and I don't get to see the process.
Right.
So I'd say that's the biggest downside is I don't get to see that growth on the individual level, but I do get to spread myself out and I get to see the big jumps on a broader level. And I like being able to just provide a different perspective and help people out. So I enjoy it, but I think that'd be one downside. The other downside is, and you get used to it, because I know that I did. Like I got used to not really sleeping in my own bed. I got used to the fact that like, I was talking to you earlier, I called it like weaponized narcolepsy. Like I can fall asleep anywhere. I can fall asleep on a train, on a plane, on a bus. If you stop talking to me for 5 minutes, it's like the old Windows, like the screensaver comes on and I just just shut down. And so like, because I've had to, effectively, when I first started doing this, I would just teach anywhere that they would have me. And so I would finish a seminar and someone would be like, hey, there's a guy who wants you. Sure. What's he pay? Well, he'll get you out here. It's a 14-hour bus ride. All right, let's go sit on the Flixbus and just fall asleep. And then I wake up, I'm in the new town, more jiu-jitsu. Now, 32-year-old Charles.
Loved that.
Loved it.
The adventure of it was amazing.
And like, didn't really pay attention, but like 38-year-old Charles is like, my back hurts. Like I want to sleep in a real bed. And so now I still enjoy the travel, but like little things like 32-year-old Charles is going to fly Ryanair or Spirit Air and like cram all his crap into a personal item and like get into a fight with the people that the personal item is an inch too big and have all that stress at the airport. 38-year-old Charles just pays the people their money to have,
to have
an
the
extra
upgrade.
item,
Exactly.
to have the upgrade, to have the airline that isn't going to kill me. Like I'm realizing as I've gotten
You said you're
older,
flying Breeze this next trip, right?
I'm still flying Breeze, but I paid for the extra bag.
I tell you what, Breeze is actually a pretty nice airline. It's the first time you flown it before?
I think I flew them once a year.
They're pretty damn good. I think they bought a bunch of JetBlue's old planes. The planes are relatively new.
Yeah.
They have limited stops, just like those other kind of Allegiant and stuff.
Yeah.
But I flew when I went to Charleston last time with my girlfriend. I flew up there. It was pretty good.
And a couple of the low-cost airlines have improved. Like back in the day, I used to think that Spirit and Frontier were in a fight to see who could be the worst airline.
Yeah.
And they just kept getting worse. But I think Frontier got bought, and I think Spirit did too. I think they're both like slightly better.
Is that Mike killing you. You're gonna be able to handle
I'm gonna get arthritis, but it's okay.
Do you want something? You want to help you out? You got it?
This is my workout for the day, right? I'm all legs.
Ian, you don't have to cut that out. That was pretty funny. Actually. No. We can leave that in. This is witty banner that fills the gaps in.
And I'm not joking. So historically, like my whole life, like I started off as a kid, I did Taekwondo, I did karate. I always loved kicking things.
Yeah.
I never really liked punching very much. I never really worked out my arms. So I've always been kind of built like a frog. I had big legs and little arms. And so like my arms aren't very strong. I tore both my shoulders doing jiu-jitsu. And so like I don't really work them out. And so like holding this heavy microphone back and forth, like this is my shoulder stabilization for the day.
Help with your
shoulders. Yeah, you're going to give me some arms.
Oh, I'll take it. I'll take it.
The legs are taken care of.
A makeshift studio space here. I think this is more comfortable than sitting at my damn table. The lighting's good here. At least we're on a couch.
I like it. And I think like
Dusty's enjoying the process too.
We both, because of our background, like we kind of are okay with discomfort.
Yes.
Right? So like
you're used to it.
I'm holding this thing and I know like my little shoulder's getting a little stronger. This is good. And like, even if my arm's shaking, I'm like, I should probably switch sides.
So I love who you are and I love your life. And I really, there was a very long time when I was very jealous of, not necessarily jealous because I always loved you, but I was envious of what you were able to do because it's pretty impressive what the infrastructure and everybody you put together. But I want to kind of go into something else that I know that you in particular, like myself, are a little more privy to the conversation. This is the fun part where we get be the old guys in the room.
Let's do it. Let's be the old guys.
To talk about the good old days.
Back in my day.
So, professional jiu-jitsu and competition jiu-jitsu at a high level paying arena.
Yeah.
Over the last 3 years, I mean, really honestly, almost 2 years probably since the onset of the ADCC getting bigger, has exploded to levels that we always kind of thought would happen. Like me, as someone that's been covering this shit for forever, I was always like, we're going to get there.
Today's the day.
But even there was also days when I was like, you're just nuts. So I want to get your perspective and let's just rant on this a little bit about the good old days and how crazy. So the kids at home and the folks at home that think that like, Gordon Ryan was always out there making, millions of dollars for for events. And, they had, Nicky Ryan and all these other guys with the big names out there. Let them know like what we came from and how it's grown.
I have some great ones for this. This is a good one. So like I was at the end of, I would call it the like unexpected violence era of jiu-jitsu.
I like this is good. I'm excited where this is heading.
So like I don't know when you started competing, what year it was, but the notion of when you went to a jiu-jitsu tournament back in the day when I was like a white belt and a blue belt, there was a chance that there was going to be a fight.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Like people don't get that. Like this whole friendly environment of the jiu-jitsu culture is new.
It's very new. Because the whole respect culture is also new. Because I remember when I was a beginner, I had some friends who didn't do jiu-jitsu, but they were Brazilian. And they lived in my neighborhood back down in South Florida. Because I moved to Gainesville already. I was doing jiu-jitsu up here. And I told them that I was doing jiu-jitsu. And they were like, they squinted at me. And I'm like, and I'm talking to them about like what they talk about now. Like, yeah, it's about respect and this and that. And they're like, raise an eyebrow. They're like, what I know of jiu-jitsu is like soccer hooligans. Like they're the guys that get into fights at the beach.
Right.
And so they're like,
that's what and people, for people that don't know, like people are under the assumption that jiu-jitsu was like the national sport of Brazil. And it has grown leaps and bounds over the last, since, the UFC and all these other things like that. But there was a time when, just like you said, the only people that did BJJ were the fucking ruffians.
Yeah.
Were the hooligans. And there were a couple more, dignified, freaking, bow and instruction and respect. But at the end of the day, like it was a fighting culture.
It's still a fight, right?
It was a fight.
Like there's a classic, if you go, I think there's documentaries about it, like Renzo's house in Rio back in the day that was just like a chaotic fight house.
Oh yeah.
They were
beat
just
the shit out of each other.
They were beating the crap out of each other. Then you think about like, well, how was jiu-jitsu when we started? Like I remember I did jiu-jitsu, and it wasn't even in the Brazilian style when I first started. It was in an MMA style. And so,
which is what the vast majority of jiu-jitsu
you didn't have a choice.
There was
you
no
couldn't just
jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Yeah, you couldn't just
it was
do
MMA
jiu-jitsu.
or nothing.
Yeah, you had to do MMA. And like I remember, I think I wasn't even a blue belt yet. One of my friends, he was the first person, his name's Donnie, he's a black belt now. He was the first person who's like, I don't think I want to do kickboxing or wrestling. I think I just want to grapple. And we all looked at him like, why would you ever do that?
Dude, it's so, man, Charles, I am telling you, like 100%, when I first started jiu-jitsu, like Joey Best was my guy. Joey's a fucking, Joey's one of them guys that like, no one really knows, but if you know, you know. Joey's like a legend of the jiu-jitsu world. Super cool guy. I love him to death. Really, really solid jiu-jitsu instructor. Owns a gym here locally.
Yeah.
But there was a time when I first started, was the same thing. And I was a boxer, I was a wrestler. Like jiu-jitsu was just some shit you did so you could do MMA.
Exactly.
It was just some shit you had to learn so you could be an MMA fighter.
I came from karate and kickboxing, and like I thought it was enough. Get taken down by a wrestler a few times. You're like, I guess it's not enough. And like, I don't know if you had the same thing. I want to learn just enough of this jiu-jitsu stuff so I can stand up and start kicking people in the head again.
Right.
That was all I wanted.
It was like you almost trained jiu-jitsu so that you could do anti-jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
And get back up again. And then guys like Joey that would be like, yeah, man, I don't want to do MMA. I just want to stick to jiu-jitsu. You were like, well, why?
Why would you do that?
Why would you want to do that? That just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't think we'll ever have MMA at my gym. Like, that's just retarded. And now, like, it's the other way around now.
Yeah.
It's flip-flopped.
Well, I think that, especially as we age, because, right, like, I was pretty young. I wasn't crazy young. I was in my 20s, though. And so when I look at it, at least when I started training with a team, how would I put it? I didn't care that my whole body was covered in bruises. I didn't care that I constantly had cuts in my mouth. I didn't care that my head hurt sometimes. I didn't care about all the injuries. I didn't care that I was being a stupid white belt and like I would have divots in my hand because I thought the defense to armbar was I needed to get better at clenching my hands harder so they couldn't break my grip because of stupid white belt. Like, I didn't care about any of that. But as you get older and realize like your body's breaking down, you start to care and you're like, wait a minute. What if I could get all the same competitive juices, all the same endorphins, all the same feelings I get from fighting without getting punched in the face?
Yeah, imagine that.
This is kind of nice.
This is kind of cool. It's so true.
And so like,
it's so true.
Especially with me, because like I love food. And what would happen was I love both cooking food and just eating food. And I would go to eat and I couldn't enjoy the food because I had slices all over my lips.
Yeah.
From boxing and kickboxing.
So for those of you that don't know, and I will tell you this from a great deal of certainty, like I have done pretty much any form of combat martial art you could possibly fucking imagine throughout the course of my life. I played football, all these other things in life. There is nothing in the world like getting punched in the face. And having to be like, that's okay.
Yep.
I'm going to keep moving forward. It's something that people, when you see MMA fights, and you see someone get punched in the face and they keep moving forward and act like nothing happened, that is not what the normal reaction to that is. You have to condition yourself to take that. Any random person, you get punched in the face, you're like, whoa,
yep,
that sucked.
And beyond that, even beyond just taking it, you need to take it and act like it didn't hurt.
Take it and act like
100%
it was nothing. Be like, thank you, give me another one.
Whereas like, say maybe even you're tough enough to like take it, but then you're gonna get emotional. Mm-hmm. You're gonna lose whatever your game plan was.
I've had professional football players, guys that are the toughest dudes in the world. And you put them in a ring, or even like special forces guys, you put them in a ring and they get punched in the face. And it's not that they're not tough enough. It's just that they're like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a certain element of being an MMA fighter and continuing to do that. You got to be a little fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You got to be able to be like, that hurt so unbelievably bad, but I don't care because I kind of like it.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely that excitement. Because I remember I have a good friend from back in the day. So back when the MMA gym in town, it was it was F2, But then there was F2, I think, closed down, or they moved into the gym that I was teaching at, which was called Dragon Master Martial Arts.
Awesome.
Hilarious.
Awesome name.
Amazing.
Some of you guys out there with your martial arts gyms, man, like hire, like spend $300 and get a marketing guy to name your name. Some of the names I see for some of these gyms, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And
do
so,
you need a hug?
and so we merged. So we had all the professional MMA fighters from F2 that came to join the gym I was teaching at Dragon Master Martial Arts. And it was like, the two groups of people did not get along at first, obviously, right? Because it's fighters. Fighters are going to be a little tribal. But I was teaching the kickboxing / Muay Thai program over there. And one of the guys who came from the pro fighters, his name was Diego. Diego and I are great friends now. He's a professional fighter in California now. I think he's still doing both kickboxing and MMA fights. Twice a week, me and Diego would effectively have a professional fight. Twice a week, we would just beat the ever-living piss out of each other. And we would love it. He had a Kyokushin background as well as a boxing background. Like, he was really, really good. I had a karate background, as American Kempo karate, as well as a kickboxing background. And we would just go to war. And it was always so evenly matched that, like, neither of us really knew who won. And so we'd be looking at our friends, like, who do you think won that one? Who was it? But now, like, if you do that every day, like, you're going to get CTE.
Yeah,
100%.
And you can't. And it sucks as you get older. Like, there's nothing I wouldn't want to. Like, I don't want to. You couldn't pay me enough money in the world to fucking put on gloves and go spar anymore. And I see old dudes that are still about it, and I guess I get it.
It's that feeling of like, in
you don't
your
need
gut
to.
Of like, do I still have it?
Right.
Yes. I know what that feeling is.
You chase that fucking demon around.
Because I have it, but at the same time,
But that's what jiu-jitsu's for.
exactly, because I can get that. Right. I can get, like, you call it the demon. Like, I can suppress that demon with jiu-jitsu, because, like, I'll go, like, recently I was lucky enough, my buddies down in South Florida, Cade Cios and Jake Strauss, like, they invited me out to Carbon Jiu-Jitsu. And all those guys in there, Cade, Jake, Anthony Molina, Martin Corvetto, these guys are all killers. They're all winning so much of the current grappling scene. And, like, I'm 38. The last competition I had was almost 2 years ago. And I'm going to go roll with these animals and see if I still got it. But at the end of it, win, lose, or draw, I'm not concussed. Maybe my ego might be hurt a little bit if I get tapped.
Right.
But, like, the worst case scenario is I find out that these young guys are animals.
Or you break an arm.
Or maybe,
this is...
Yeah, I guess if they're being malicious. I'm lucky. Those guys are actually, I have to give credit to them, despite being young. Like, they're incredibly professional.
Yeah.
Never once did I feel like any of those guys was trying to injure me.
Right.
They were 100% trying to tap me out.
Right.
Which is what training's supposed to be.
That's what it's supposed to be like, especially at our level. When you train at that level, you recognize that.
You
I know what I'm
recognize
getting
that they're trying to tap you out, but they weren't trying to injure me. So, like, props to all those guys. Like, I never felt it once in any of those guys that I got to roll with that day. And the thing is that what I was impressed with them was, like, they're all so curious.
Yeah.
They want to get better. Like, even
if you go in there, I've noticed this. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, take it.
I have noticed, because I still did the same thing. Like, I'm 48, and I refuse to believe it. Like, I don't know. I have one of my instructors, my black belt's actually Ryan Hauntz, one of my very good friends, been with me for a long time. I gave him his black belt.
Yeah.
My first black belt. He tells me, he says, like, I laugh about it. He tells me, you're pretty much have been 16 years old for the last 40 years. It's not, I got a little bit better with my finances. You know what I mean? And I figured I pieced things together a little bit better. But at the end of the day, like, I still, in my mind, like, I have been stunned at a 16-year-old's maturity, and it's just the way I live. And that being said, I still think I can go out there and compete with the guys that are freaking, at the top. I enjoy that. And when you do that, and these young kids, they may still tap you, they may still get the better here and there, but they're like, oh, fuck. Like,
they're surprised.
They're surprised.
And also, because
they show you respect.
Exactly. Because of the meta also, like, there's some stuff that we do as the old guy that's normal. That for them, they're like, what's that?
Yeah, what's that?
And it's just like, this is old and busted jiu-jitsu.
That's called fundamental jiu-jitsu. That's good. This is called deep half guard. It's what old dudes do.
Or like, but not even like fundamental, just Jiu-jitsu,
Yes.
I think goes through fashions,
Yes.
right?
Oh,
so like,
all the time.
So like we know the jiu-jitsu that was fashionable when
Right.
we were coming up.
The Marcelo Garcia butterfly guard.
Exactly.
The freaking old school single X from Stan,
Right.
which is kind of carried over. Things like that.
Yeah, but even beyond just that, but like there's little like things that were weird but were common in our time
Yeah.
that are now uncommon.
Right. It's so true. Like a Nogi baseball bat choke.
Exactly.
That was the coolest thing.
Yep.
In like freaking 2010.
Yeah.
And now nobody does it
like
anymore.
Mike Bidwell, right? The BJ over 40 guy.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
would do that to everybody.
Yeah.
I tried that for years.
Yeah.
I don't have the shoulders for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like my shoulders don't move that
It's
way.
so
but I saw
cool.
him doing that. I'm like, I want to do that.
You know what the cool thing to remember about that too. And this is I like to relay this to my students and anyone that'll listen. It's funny that there's always these fads like leg locks. I always think about is the fad that just never went away. Leg locks now it's getting to the point where they're not as effective simply because people understand them intuitively. But there was a time when you were a leg lock
You
guy.
just walk up and win.
And there still are people like, and that stayed for a long time because people just refuse to learn them.
Yep.
But
As long as the culture thinks it's not real,
Right.
you can just win.
But exactly, they deny.
Yeah.
But what you notice is that the fundamental process of what jiu-jitsu is based on, which is what climbing that ladder of positional dominance, is always going to be key. Is always going to be what it goes back to. It's always going to come back to some form of pressure jiu-jitsu because as boring as it is, we were talking about that the other day about Gordon Ryan. As boring as it is, it's still the most effective jiu-jitsu out
dominant.
there. If I get on my knees and I put pressure on you and I take my time and I just outweight you and I wait for you to get tired and then I get an underhook and now I have you in half guard with chest to chest and I start to win that hook out and I am confident enough and disciplined enough to utilize that effectively, I'm going to win a match.
I would agree with that, except it all depends on the rule set, right?
Right.
I think in a no time limit situation, you're exactly right.
Right.
But if you got a minute left and you want to play that game,
Yeah.
that guy
Right.
might stall you out.
Right.
And you're not going to get your points, which is why I think that we're in a cool time right now where if you look at a lot of the people on top, they're pretty well rounded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's so.
They kind of have everything. They have the leg locks. They have the wrestling. They have the pressure passing. They have all of it.
Let me backtrack that a little bit because what I'm saying is that you have to understand all of those things.
Yes.
You have to.
You can't just
in the
ignore it
modern
anymore.
game, you can't just say all I'm going to do is be a pressure player because guys will know how to beat your thing eventually.
Yes.
And they'll get you caught up in situation. If you don't understand anything about legs or you don't understand anything about, Kimura traps and things like that, you're going to be fucked.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand how to beat that. Right. So you have to understand it. However, if you look at Gordon Ryan, for example, Gordon Ryan knows all of these things. He can leg lock anybody he wants to at any given
But he
moment.
doesn't have to use it anymore.
He doesn't have to do it anymore.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't need it. And it's easier and more functional. The point is that jiu-jitsu is designed to climb that ladder. Why? Because I get better and you get worse.
Yep.
And your options decrease as my increase as I go from the takedown to passing your guard to the mount and then eventually to the back. That's what it's designed for. And that will always be where it goes back to.
I would definitely agree with that in that sense of like, it's also limited, right? Because jiu-jitsu, the whole point of that ladder and why I think that ladder is good is that what did we say in the beginning? What were we doing jiu-jitsu for in the beginning? Fighting, right? So a lot of the stuff that violates that ladder can violate that ladder because we're not punching and
Because we're
kicking
not
each other.
punching or kicking each other in the face. Dude, I have a Navy SEAL friend of mine, Michael Dowd, that comes out every 2 years and we do, he does a seminar at my gym where we do a day at the range and then we do a day of combatives.
Yeah.
And the combatives that we show when we do the actual combative, self-defense elements of it, like it is literally the simplest jiu-jitsu. It's a technical stand-up. It's finding a frame. It's getting to your feet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's controlling a mounted position. It's allowing you preserve. I mean, it's literally like 4 things. And it's cool to understand some of the more dynamic jiu-jitsu. And if you see MMA, a lot of the more dynamic stuff is starting to come into play. You're seeing it there because you want to be able to have it in your pocket. But at the end of the day, that basic jiu-jitsu, especially against someone that's untrained, it's like having a superpower.
I completely agree in 2 things. One, what I'm finding is understanding what makes something a basic or a fundamental. Because I think that oftentimes in jiu-jitsu, what we consider a basic or a fundamental is whatever our coach taught us first.
So true. There's no dogma,
right,
for jiu-jitsu.
And so because of that, oftentimes what one person's basic is actually not simple at all. But it was the first thing they got taught. So for them, that's the basics.
Yeah, like an omoplata.
Exactly. An
Like
omoplata is not
it's not a basic move, but every I guarantee you, every basic introductory system has the omoplata. Why? Because it's part of the the three brothers drill.
Exactly. That drill, everyone learned first, and so you have to teach the pieces of the drill. But if to me, this is something that I had a project back in 2020. I interviewed a bunch of my friends and other black belts about, like, what's the first thing you teach? No two people taught the same thing first. Everybody teaches something different first. Whether it be one of my friends who was really into the competition, very much into like a Danaher follower, he taught the idea of a seated guard approach to walk forward with a trilemma. And he's like, if they learn this first.
you lost me a trilemma.
Exactly, right? Because he was very arcane in how he approached jiu-jitsu. But like, because I want them to start off with the best possible place to start for a submission grappling match, which is I'm on the ground, which means you can't take me down. I'm on bottom, which means I can sweep you and I can make my connections. And I'm going to teach them from the beginning this concept of attacking, of making dilemmas from the very beginning, right? And so he thought about it very deeply, and he's like, I think this is the best place to start because I'm going to set the tone from the beginning of like, if you're learning from me, you're learning technical jiu-jitsu and we're going to be thinkers, right? I had somebody else who had the thought of, I teach this first because it looks cool and we're running a business. And if I give you a cool toy to go show your friends, you're going to want to come back.
Right.
Not caring at all about whether or not this is practical.
So true.
Not caring at all about how, because guess what? I don't care if you're going to have long-term growth in the sport if you quit.
So there's another side to that too
there's more, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, what I think about a lot in that, and I do get that, and I think that Rob Kahn, our patriarch, used to talk about back when I was a blue belt. There's something in this sport that everyone wants to make things overcomplicated. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants to. It can't be something simple because that's just not sexy. That's not fun. There has to be.
Well, then why do I need 10 years to be a black belt?
Yeah, right, exactly. So my theory on this, and this is what I preach. So there's two very significant parts of jiu-jitsu, the process. There is the incredibly technical process of all of the insane techniques that you have to learn, and even the basics.
Yeah.
Like whatever we perceive to be the basics, however it's approached upon. There's some complicated shit involved in that. Oh, yeah. Levers and controls.
Well, even just a triangle.
Just a triangle
can be incredibly complicated.
Exactly. And then we're not even adding into the equation like drilling it versus applying it to an actual fully resisting person. Yep. Like that's a whole nother dynamic. So it takes a long time over the long haul of jiu-jitsu to really learn how the body functions, how to think intuitively, how to stay calm under the duress of all the madness and think in that position. That's not something it's a reason why it takes 10 years to get a black belt.
To me, that's a big one. That staying calm one. That's massive.
I always make that debate. Like I could make the debate that the techniques of jiu-jitsu are the greatest, are what make jiu-jitsu the greatest martial art on the planet because I love jiu-jitsu. I'm biased. Yeah. But the reality of it is sometimes they're not, especially we talk about multiple attackers, so on and so forth. What makes jiu-jitsu the greatest martial art on the planet is the fact that we can recreate real life situations over and over and over again without the fear of imminent danger. Why? Because we can tap.
Yep.
Right? So that teaches you how to think, and you can't think under that duress, stay calm, not go to your fight or flight. You can't do that in other martial arts. Why? Because you get killed. I can't punch you in the face with the same force I put my fist to a brick because I'll kill you.
Yeah. But also, I think it's the nature of grappling because like you said, we can recreate the scenario. If you're doing boxing or kickboxing, unless you have a really high level set of people around you, recreating the exact exchange that
it's very hard.
It's hard. Very difficult.
Very hard.
Very
like,
difficult.
there's a few coaches. Like, I don't know if you follow Coach Barry Robinson.
Bob Barry's good.
So like, he's, I think, the
He got real
closest.
sick. I remember he almost died not too long ago.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got real sick.
So like, he's really good at, I think, organizing striking in a way that's almost close to how grappling can do it, with like recreating scenarios and like defining terminology and settings. He's really good at that. But most of the time with striking, it's like you said, you're learning techniques and it's timing and it's managing your emotions and your toughness and your tactics. And it's good, but you can't exactly recreate it. Whereas like we have names for all these positions. I can just talk to you even without showing you anything. All right, so I was in top half guard. He had the underhook. I was going for a Dars, but he moved his body into extension, so I switched to a guillotine. I didn't have to show you anything. You know exactly what just happened.
Right, exactly.
Because we have language.
Yeah.
And we understand what that means. And I can recreate. I can play an entire set of drills and games. If you say you want to get better at that, cool. I'm going to have you get in top half guard. I'm going to give your opponent the underhook, and I'm going to give your opponent different goals. And we can do semi-live drills from there. And the second you leave that drill, and now you can get all this mileage in what you want to practice. Super hard to do that in striking.
And the other element, so back to the overcomplication of the sport.
Go back.
And this is what, like, everything is kind of what we were talking about kind of leads to this point here. Like, you know, obviously jiu-jitsu is something that the techniques are almost secondary to the application simply because it's that real life struggle that makes you understand how to protect yourself, because jiu-jitsu first and foremost is always going to be a martial art.
Yeah.
And martial art jiu-jitsu is very basic. However, me and you have been training for almost 20 years at this point.
Yep.
Right? If you told me and you that all I'm going to work on is a technical stand-up and close guard, we would be like, I would have quit years ago. So what happens? We create more intelligent ways in which to trick people at higher levels, right? And then professional jiu-jitsu and competition jiu-jitsu starts to dictate to that. Now, am I necessarily going to go for those complicated moves in a street fight? You never know. Maybe I want to fuck with somebody, right? But the reality of it is probably not. Right? But in order to achieve the real value of jiu-jitsu, which is the application part of it, we make things more complicated simply because I want to have fun.
Yes.
When I have more fun rolling with you because we are doing, I'm like, oh shit, that was fucking cool.
Yep.
That toe hold you caught me with, not that I forgot about that. Of course it doesn't matter. Would I dwell on that. I won't think about that for the next 6 months until we roll again. No big deal. But that toe hold you caught me with was like, oh shit, that was pretty fucking cool.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we do things to trick each other so that we can continue to train at that high level.
But I think that's really cool on 2 points. One, like, jiu-jitsu changes as to what it is for you. Just like you were talking yesterday to your class about, like, some people are in here because they have aspirations of being champions. Some people are in here because they just want to chill out and have community. Some people are here because they want to lose weight. Everyone has a different reason. And your reason is going to change over time, right? Like you said, we could focus and just continue to hone our technical stand-up. And I, ironically, in a way, like when I got obsessed with the framing system, I ended up just honing different types of technical stand-ups, which is what ended up being the backbone of that framing system. It's a very basic thing, but it became immensely powerful. I replaced a whole swath of my defense with just the little elbow frame that I got obsessed with since like 2019. And that made it more elegant. And then the cool thing is then I went back. Now that I have this incredibly efficient piece, I'm going to add some nonsense to it because I want to have fun too.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay if jiu-jitsu for one person is, I want to feel safe walking down the street. And for another person, it's, I want to look good in a bathing suit. And for another person, it's, I want to be ADCC champion. And for another person like us as we age, I want to have some shits and giggles with my friends. I want to have fun.
I tell new students and I tell people when I see them that they're interested in training jiu-jitsu, and I can't tell you how many people come up to me every day when they find out I train. Oh, I'm going to come train with you. I'm like, whatever. I'll say, sure. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you my card. Right, exactly. Most people don't come. But I always tell them, I say, I don't care what it takes to get you on the mat. If you want to lose weight, great. If you want to be in a UFC fighter, great. If you want to freaking be Gordon Ryan, great. If you want to learn how to fight, self-defense, great. If you want to just hang out with some people, great.
Yeah.
But when you join jiu-jitsu and you start training, you will quickly realize that it is about so much more than that. Yeah. There is so much, and it's you. You won't believe me because it'll sound like I'm trying to sell you on something.
Yeah.
You won't believe me until you start training. It will challenge you in ways you could never possibly imagine, and it will be such a big part of your life that it will change you, and you'll love it.
And just like you're saying, it changes the way you look at things. So for example, right, the way that I view jiu-jitsu, the way that I dissect things, the way that I ask why, the way that I question orthodoxy, right? Like my favorite example of this is one of the things you tell beginners is never show your back. If you show your back, you're gonna have your back taken, you're gonna get choked. And I obeyed that rule for a long time. And then as a black belt, I'm like,
my favorite business in the world is giving people my back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my moneymaker.
Exactly. So it's just like, what if I did? Okay, well, here's how this is going to cause me problems, and here's how I can use it. But if I can start, like you said, as you get better, you're laying bait, you're laying traps.
Right.
The game is becoming more about your tactics and your approach than it is about the specific move being done perfectly. And especially as you get better, right? When you see those boring matches at the high level, it's because both people know one mistake and it's over.
Yep.
And so they don't want to make a mistake. But then I think Gordon Ryan versus Galvao is a great example. Gordon understood the only way that Galvao was going to beat him was going to be by points. And so if he was still standing at the 5-minute mark, there's a chance Galvao takes him down, gets the points, and wins.
Right. Because Galvao is a hell of a wrestler.
He's a hell of a wrestler.
That's his game.
But he's also a brilliant tactician.
Yes.
Galvao, if you give him anything, he knows how to win, and he has tactics.
Yep.
And I think if you look at it, you look at how like Hulk Barbosa leg locked Joseph Chen, who's in his corner. Eric Paulson, Andre Galvao, amazing tacticians.
Yeah.
Hulk Barbosa is not known for his leg locks.
Right.
No one on their bingo card had Hulk Barbosa leg locking Joseph Chen.
No, not even. No.
Nobody.
Vegas wouldn't even lay odds on that.
And so, but Galvao is a brilliant tactician. So Gordon, what did he do? He's like, I'm going to give him a leg.
Yeah.
Just stick my leg out there.
Yeah.
And Galvao took the bait. Took the takedown. Now Gordon gets to play from bottom.
Yeah.
And he knows, he ended up submitting him before points, but he knew that if he didn't, there's no way that Galvao is going to score on him.
There's a very, very real possibility that Gordon loses 2-0 after a 25-minute fucking wrestling match where Galvao just pulls down on his head like he does to everybody else.
Yep.
And then now he's tired. He shoots that double leg, gets his 2 points, and fucking loses by. That's how. That's the Andre Galvao mode and method for winning.
Yeah,
and he's
that's
real
how he
goddamn
beat.
good at it.
Was it Claudio Calasanz?
Pena,
yeah,
everybody. Literally everybody.
Yeah,
that's because
I think that, and it's an interesting thing because the irony when Gordon was coming up to challenge Galvao, he was calling Galvao boring and all of these things and how he doesn't fight very often, and now Gordon's on top, and now Gordon's boring and he doesn't fight very often.
It's so true.
But I think it's
so
the
true.
nature of the game when you're the champion. When you're the champion, you make the rules.
GSP was the same way.
GSP on his way up, so exciting.
Yeah.
On the top, he's a tactician.
Double leg takedown.
Even right now, John Jones.
Yep.
John Jones holding up the whole UFC because he's the champion. He makes the rules.
They just stripped him recently. Yeah.
How long has he been doing that?
I know. I'm over him, and I'm over freaking Conor McGregor.
But when you're the scrappy guy on the come up, you look at the champion and you're like, how could this? Doesn't he have any pride? How could this champion be this way? But then, sure enough, once you become the champion, you understand like being the champion and not being the champion are very different. Even like Mayweather, right? Mayweather got on top and he made his own rules. Mayweather only fought the people when he wanted to fight him. Yeah. He wasn't going to fight a prime Manny Pacquiao. He waited for Pacquiao to get old.
You know why? Because you earned that fucking right. And that's what people don't get something. Now, there's also a downside to that because now you can have that question mark.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird because if you look at guys like Shane Mosley.
Yeah.
Right? As I'm going way back now. For those of you who don't know who Shane Mosley is, he was a boxer back in the fucking early 2000s.
Time for Google.
Exactly. One of those dudes that was kind of one of the up and comers. And the problem with Shane Mosley is he fought anybody.
Yep.
Anytime, any place. Didn't matter. And you gain a reputation for that. However, you also lose the status.
Yep.
You gain
once you have that loss, it's never the same.
It's done.
And I think it's the culture of boxing, MMA. I think jiu-jitsu is less that way because in jiu-jitsu almost everyone loses.
Yeah, almost everyone.
Besides Gordon, about everyone loses.
Right.
Right. But in boxing, for example, or MMA, it's not like you get forgiven. I think Oliveira is like one of the few people that gets forgiven for losses. Like Oliveira and like Max Holloway.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Everybody else, you lose, and everybody's like, "Oh, he was never good."
Conor McGregor too, but these doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, but I think Conor's more not because of. Well, I guess he's a good example, right? Because Chael, Conor, the ability of people don't care if you win if you're interesting.
They just want to see you out,
right? Because like in the case of Conor, he was winning and he had the mouth. But in the case of Chael lost all the time. But
he did.
But he was so entertaining and still is to this day. And I love that to this day he's undefeated, right?
Yeah.
On his podcast, he talks about undefeated.
I never lost. Never lost. John Jones never beat me. John Jones, I was at that fight. John Jones beat you. He beat the shit out of you with a broke ass toe. I remember when they put his toe up on the big screen, though. I think the whole arena puked at the same time. It was so
gross.
So I thoroughly am enjoying this conversation, and we kind of got off topic a little bit. But
we can go back. So the topic was the complexity of jiu-jitsu, and I think go back.
How jiu-jitsu has grown. I've been enjoying watching the building of jiu-jitsu.
So I think it's really cool, and I think as it gets more and more professionalized, there are these amazing opportunities for everyone. Like I saw there's a blue belt tournament where you win $2,000.
Yeah, there's one now, 10 grand.
10
grand for blue belts. It's
crazy.
There's a tiered qualifier. You get $1,500 if you win the qualifier, and then if you win the main thing, you win 10 grand. Robbie D'Onofrio's running. Mad Assassins, I think is what it's called. We're gonna have one of my.
I saw his Mad Assassins last time for black belts.
Cayman, the guy that you just rolled with,
yeah.
The big kid. He's one of the guys that's gonna go try out.
Bro, that kid's a blue belt.
Yeah, he's a fine. I know. He's only been training for 2 years.
That's great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But I think that's also a statement to like the nature of how we teach now.
Yeah.
Right now. And I think there's an advantage. The advantage is like if someone wants to be a professional grappler, like we're not saying sorry, you're only a this belt, you don't get to learn this move. No. Here's it all. Here's the current game. Here's what you're gonna deal with if you're gonna compete. Whereas back in the day, I don't know if it happened for you, but it happened for me. I was a blue belt and I was doing heel hooks because I started in MMA. And my coach was like, Charles, no, you can't be doing heel hooks. I'm like, why? I've been doing them since I first started. Well, IBJJF says no heel hooks and heel hooks are dangerous and this and that. And so I couldn't do heel hooks at my gym. So I could only do heel hooks when I went over to the MMA gym. There was a limitation on it. So a lot of us kind of got held up. And then there was the tradition. But the cool thing about that was I think that there is something to be said about the tradition and the idea of some of the respect and some of the intangibles that are focused on a structure of respect and discipline. Now, mind you, that structure and discipline gets abused because like everything kind of becomes a cult eventually. And like it's one of those things like we don't talk about, but it's like if you look like any organization led by a charismatic leader with a hierarchical understanding gets a little culty eventually.
And it's the answer to that is, are you going to be a loving, caring cult leader, or are you going to be a piece of shit?
Exactly. Well, because you gain, like we said, like we genuinely in jiu-jitsu can give people life-changing results. We can help people with their mental health. I like making my jiu-jitsu about problem solving because I think if I can help you solve jiu-jitsu problems very, focused and systematically, well then there's no profession you're going to go into where solving problems is a bad thing.
Exactly.
Right? So it's going to help you in your whole life. You started like essentially being a benevolent cult leader.
Benevolent. That was the word was escaping me, but that was what I was looking for.
But I think you don't have to be a cult leader, but just understanding that like whether you like it or not, when you have a positive impact on people's lives, like they're going to look at you differently and you get a little bit of power and to just not abuse it, right? Like you don't have to abuse it, but just like, remember, like we were talking earlier that like you meet people in this sport sometimes and you get a weird feeling like, wow, that feels a little culty. And I don't even know that sometimes it's on purpose, because I've been in situations in my travels where like one of the students will talk to me in like outside of the gym in like a very like deferent way, like kind of as if they're beneath me in like a weird, like, you're the black belt, so you get to be above me. And I'm like, bro, like, I understand that I'm helping you. I did the seminar, it was cool, but like, we're just two guys eating hamburgers right now. So like, we can just chat like normal. Like, for all I know, like, you're a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, you're a carpenter. Like, there's some facet of life that you know way more about than me. And
So-
and we can just be normal.
My philosophy on that is this, and this is something that I have toiled with and struggled with a little bit throughout the course of my jiu-jitsu journey as a coach and instructor and a competitor and all these other things like that, is that like human psychology, right?
Yeah.
There's leaders and followers and many different facets of many different interactions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I have musicians, I play guitar.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not an amazing guitar player, but I'm pretty goddamn good. And
Yeah.
people that are amazing guitar players, there's a sense of me. It's like, oh my God, that guy's,
Yeah.
you're amazing. Like there's an idolatry.
They're further on there's
Right.
something you love that they're further along the path on.
Right. So what I say to that sometimes is that I would never, if people look at me like I'm some kind of a god and they want to take a picture with me, because it's weird. That happens to me sometimes. I go to my people, hey, take a picture of me. Hey, what's up, dude? How you doing? Sure. I'll
That
take a
happened to
picture with you.
me at ADCC.
Yeah.
And I legit had to ask the guy, I'm like, who do you think that I am?
Yeah, you know who I am.
I
right?
want to make sure that you don't think I'm some random Brazilian.
People think I'm Wagner Rocha a lot. And people think I'm Wagner Rocha a lot. I get that. I get that.
You guys
I
are
get that
kind
one.
of grizzled. I see it.
I
Yeah.
get that one a lot. But the point of the whole thing is that, like, you know, if for whatever reason you think that I am some kind of a superhero, fuck it, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Like, if you looking up to me and thinking that I'm cool and thinking that I'm someone to follow motivates you to do something better in your life, or motivates you to keep training jiu-jitsu, or to think about training jiu-jitsu, or something I said helps you get through your day in whatever capacity, who am I to tell you that I'm not important enough for you to idolize or for you to look up to?
I think that's the key difference, right? Because you said both, look up to and idolize. I think that someone looking to you as a positive example in the context of what you've done, that's positive. But when you say idolize is when things get weird, right? Like, I think there's always going to be the line, right? Because as they always say, never meet your heroes, right? Because
Sometimes they let you down.
they let you down,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, like,
Because you find out they're human.
because we're all,
I'm just some dude.
Exactly.
You're just some dude.
I
You know, for the most part, and honestly, in most other realms, if jiu-jitsu hadn't taken off, we'd be fucking losers still. I mean, if jiu-jitsu stayed on the course it stayed on in 2009, we'd just be some fucking losers that are like, that's that weirdo that does, what do you do? Taekwondo?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
just like at my office.
Yeah.
Actually, my niece also could probably beat you up. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, probably. My niece just got her black belt. You're still purple belt? Huh, that's cool.
Exactly.
Right.
But I think it's a responsibility to like keep things sane, because you can lean into it and take advantage of people's trust. And I think that's when things get hairy and gross. Or you can just understand that like you want to just set a good example, right? Because I think even from a little kid, if you were an older sibling, hey, set a good example. If you're one of the older kids in a group, set a good example. I think setting a good example, that's a beautiful thing. But I think once someone gets to the point of like they can do no wrong. No, because like someone will say, I believe in XYZ. And then someone they look up to does the opposite of XYZ. And then they have to do the mental gymnastics of like, well, if they did it, then actually I changed my mind. XYZ can't be good.
Right.
Because the fearless leader is against it. And so
Right.
now I have to mold myself, because my worldview is that I like thing XYZ and I believe that fearless leader is always right. And now I'm at cognitive dissonance. I have a crisis. And I think that's really scary. Versus like, yo, Kev's a great competitor. I trust his mind for competition planning. He's a good black belt. He's running a great gym. If I ever have in these areas, I should probably talk to Kevin.
Right.
But if Kevin gives me advice about like, I have a puffy thing on my stomach, he's like, oh, that's your spleen. I don't trust Kevin. Because Kevin knows nothing about that.
It's true how sometimes people will make that connection. Like they're asking me for like financial advice. Like, bro, I ain't your dude, bro.
Well, I think we all, I don't know if it's a cultural thing or a human thing, but like we all kind of want a guru, right? Like, because as you're a kid, you look at media and stuff, and like there's the main character, and the main character has like a guru or a trainer or a leader or somebody he goes to, and the guru gives him some sage advice on the hill with his long Chinese beard, and then now that person's life's better because the guru helped him out. And I think that kind of being able to give some advice, because you're also a grown man, right? Like, you could probably give most 16-year-olds relatively good regular life advice, right? Like, like keep good friends, be careful who you hang around. Like you can give grown man 16-year-old advice and hopefully lead your teens in the wise direction. What I think is weird sometimes is you'll have like a 29-year-old jiu-jitsu black belt giving advice to like a 50-year-old heart surgeon about life.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's weird. It's odd sometimes. But again, one of the things that I cherish as being a gym owner is, whatever, man. Like me and you, I don't know you from nobody, but I can just based upon some of the stories we've talked about, like our lives have been a bit chaotic.
Oh, yeah.
And we've had to overcome some things.
Overcome adversity, for sure.
Overcome adversity. And through that struggle, like jiu-jitsu has been my fucking way to not go this way and go this way. Like I could have, many times in life, I could have gone the wrong way.
I'll take that back. That 29-year-old kid could probably give that 50-year-old advice about life in general, because we've been, exactly like you said, we've been through struggles. Jiu-jitsu struggles are a good allegory for a lot of other type struggles. We've been able to handle adversity.
Allegory, good word. I love that.
And so being able to use jiu-jitsu as a vehicle, like we said before, to show you like, hey, like you're going to make it. Like you just got divorced from your wife.
Right.
Don't worry. You're going to make it.
Everything's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right. You're going to push through this just like you push through everything else.
As a gym owner.
I think it's very appropriate. I think that's an appropriate way to do it, where you're not getting too culty. You're just being a good friend.
As a gym owner and now having my flock of people that look up to me as a leader.
Flock really, really makes it sound culty.
Having my people that come to my gym and love and respect the culture that I've put together. Like, it's not about me, it's about the gym.
Exactly.
But like there's a certain degree of like, oh shit, like I'm in people's business now. Yeah. Like I've got people that are getting divorced. I got people that their parents died. Like I've got people that like have serious things, and like where I'm not necessarily going to be there 100%. Like if they want to talk, I'm going to listen.
Yeah.
If they need my help, I'm going to do everything I can do to help them, because there's a connection. And sometimes them just hearing me say, hey man, you know what, dude? Like I'm here for you, brother.
That
the gym's
is
here
so
for you,
powerful.
Brother. We are here for you as a community. We all are here for you to help you should you need it. Even if the opportunity never arises. Just the comfort in knowing that there are people that empathize with where you're coming from and we're here for you is helpful.
I think that you said two things there that are really powerful. One is just letting someone know that you're there for them and they care is something that is getting more and more rare.
It is.
They get super isolated.
There's no more compassion in the world. It's a horrible thing.
There's not lack of compassion, but also just between remote work and people staying home all the time.
Yeah. We're isolated.
People are isolated. And so, and it's the second word, just community. And at the end of the day, like we're social creatures. Like we're not, I mean, yes, there's the classic loner. There's a few people that just don't like people and want to go sit on an island somewhere alone. Fine. But most of us live in community. And I don't know if it's still true, but like there was a study, I think I read this study like 10 years ago, that said most men after the age of 35 will never make a new friend for the rest of their life. And that's part of why they think that men die before women, and why like when a wife dies, the husband dies right afterwards. But if a husband dies, she's fine.
Yeah.
Like she shows good. And part of it, I think it is that in general, like women tend to have more friends than men do. They tend to have more community. Whereas men just, at least, this is mind you, this is quoting a 10-year-old study. So how I know it could be, I don't even remember what the study is. So like you can Google it. Like don't trust my random second thing. But the general idea is that jiu-jitsu is one of the few places.
You're black belt. I thought you knew everything.
But like jiu-jitsu, one of the few places where you can find community, and if done authentically, it is someone who gives a damn about you. And it is a community of people that you can kind of lean on, and it's really nice. And I think with the cult thing, where it gets weird is when there are, because I've seen this with some gym owners where one of their students either outgrows them, right? They're a local jiu-jitsu gym, and this student has bigger aspirations, and they want to move to a bigger team that has more competition. And that instructor hates them for it because they left them and they betrayed them and they're a creonche or they're whatever.
Creonche.
Right? And I think that's horrible. Or even less than that, like some dude did jiu-jitsu for 5 years and you know what? That was enough for him. And he decides he's done with jiu-jitsu. And now he's afraid that, well, if I stop going to jiu-jitsu, will my friends stop talking to me? And I think that's a scary thing and a very big kind of tool that is used by some unethical gym owners to keep their numbers up. And that's the part of cultiness that I'm talking about that I think is a little gross. I think you supporting your students, although I think that's all beautiful. But I think at the end of the day, right, that person who you know is going through a divorce, if they're like, hey, I'm going through a divorce and I lost my job, I got to stop my membership. And then they call you and they're like, hey, Kev, and you're like, sorry, you're not paying your dues. I don't care about you anymore.
Right. The people out there, if you're thinking about training jiu-jitsu, or if it's in your agenda, if you're curious about it, this is the big overall thought, right? Just be careful who you train under.
Exactly.
There are good guys and there's bad guys, just like in anything,
right?
And you know, I want to believe that we live in a world where everyone that is a black belt is a pious, wonderful person. That's the reality. Just ain't true.
It's not true.
It's not true. So just pay attention. If you feel like you're being too motivated, overmotivated, overstimulated, or caught in situations, things seem sketchy, they probably are.
Yeah.
Red flags are there for a reason. Find a gym with a caring, compassionate instructor that cares about you, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the deal. We are getting close to an hour. I usually like to cut these in an hour. However, I would like to talk about a few of at least one of our very
one of the adventures.
One of our fun adventures.
All right, I'm down for it. I love this.
This is a great story. And Ian, I apologize. You're going to have to edit for an hour and a half instead of an hour this time. But this is something that me and Charles, and I know you know what I'm talking about.
I'm ready for it.
So not the last ADCC,
the one right
but
before
the one
that.
right before
Yeah.
that. I was out at the ADCC, and this was at a time when like I had some kind of a relationship with Mo. Like it was more, I had always turned it into this grand thing. Me and Mo would communicate. He would actually take my calls because I'd have him on the jiu-jitsu times and we had chatted about some things and blah, blah, blah. You know, in my delusional period about 4 or 5 years ago when I had a very elevated sense of my own self-worth in the jiu-jitsu community, I thought that me and Mo
kind of
were
the big
fucking,
deal.
well, I thought I was fucking in with the freaking with the homies and shit. So Mo got me 2 tickets for the event. I don't even know why he did. I think he saw me competing at the trials and was like, oh man, you did a great job. And we chatted for a minute.
That's
I was like,
nice,
hey, why
man.
don't you hook me up with some tickets? Fuck yeah, I got me some tickets. Good deal, right?
All right.
So in my mind, there was this weird world where I wasn't sure what Mo's going to give me these crazy VIP tickets. So I also, in that period, had a communication with one of Mo's buddies. This guy, I won't mention his name.
Probably wise.
Yeah, one of who I thought was real close with him, who kind of in the interim turned out to be maybe not as close with him as I thought. So Mo gave me 2 tickets. I'm talking to this person that was a personal friend with Mo that had backstage passes. Long story short, this guy somehow or another finagled 2 backstage passes for us, me and my friend Chris, and we were sitting like in the VIP section. Like when I tell you, like freaking Roger Gracie was 2 seats next to me, and like freaking Joe Rogan was in the front row. Like we were there.
I know because ironically, I was in the best seats you could get that weren't those.
Right.
And I looked over, I'm like, that's fucking Kevin. How'd he get in there?
I don't even know. All I know is I was in the mix. And like day one of that event was possibly the coolest day of my entire life.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking I am the shit. I'm like, baby, I've arrived. This is it. Game on. So the very next day, right, I go home, I take a shower, coming back for the finals. I get a text from my mutual friend with Mo telling me, I don't know what happened, but Mo was very pissed off. He thinks we stole those passes. And I'm like, I didn't steal anything. Like, you gave me these passes, and I just assume you're friends with Mo. I'm cool. So in my mind, I'm thinking me and Mo like are BFF buds, and I'm sitting in the VIP. So he proceeds to tell me that like when we get to the arena, security is going to escort us out. And what does he say? He told me like I'm looking for Kevin Gallagher and his cronies.
Yes, his cronies. Which I remember you told me that, and I'm like, dude, you have made it. You got cronies. Once you got cronies, you got a goon squad. You're all set.
Oh, dude, so
that was amazing.
The story gets even better. Like, so as the day goes on, eventually, somehow or another, I get a hold of Mo, and I talk to Mo, you know, on the busiest day of his life.
Perfectly appropriate.
Have no idea.
Talking to you is super important to him right
totally
now.
what he wants to deal with right now. Totally what he wants to deal with right now. So somehow or another, I get with him and we figure out that it was a little bit overblown. Things got out of hand. Yeah. Can I please just come and use the tickets that you gave me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so very sorry, Mo. Thank you. I apologize, whatever. So long story short, I get let in the arena and I'm hiding essentially. And the funniest part was
I remember, because I was looking over the second day and I'm like, I wonder why would Kevin not take these amazing seats for the second day? Like, where'd he go?
I was worried I was going to get arrested and barred from like, they were just going to rip up my pass and tell me I could never go. And they're like barred from the ADCC.
So like a funny thing that was also happening at that event, because they didn't have specific seats, so everyone was getting pissed.
It was chaos. Yeah.
It was chaos because also
they had the colored. No one cared.
The two best seats were black,
right, and purple,
they were red. No, the purple was the best.
Right,
but the ones that like outside of the purple, like of the regular bleacher seating, were black and red.
Right.
The problem was that if you just took They were printed on a wristband that if you flipped your black wristband around, it looked just like a red wristband, and you could sneak into the front row.
Nobody was checking you. Nobody gave a shit. It was chaos.
And so you couldn't get out of your seat. So I remember like I couldn't leave because if I left, there's not going to be a seat when I come back. But the event is 12 hours.
Right.
Do you really want to sit in that chair for 12 hours?
It was such a long
Don't get
day.
me wrong. That is, my opinion, is still my favorite ADCs I've ever been to.
It was the best.
It was the absolute best. That
even
venue.
better than the one that was supposed to be the best.
Yeah.
They had the chick from Pride.
Oh,
screaming,
yeah. Screaming. That lady's voice was so broken. It was amazing.
What the fuck's her name? Remember her name?
I don't know her name.
Remember her
I know
name.
what you're talking about. And you did a pretty good voice.
The nerds at home are going to hate us for not knowing her name.
You did a pretty good version of her voice for that.
Right.
So, and like, because there's so many names to read out and her voice was broken by the end of it.
And then they had the Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah.
It was just a long day. It was a long day.
But at this time, because you don't have numbered seats, you can't get up.
And it was also the year, like, to be honest with you, I think the main selling point of that was the fact that we were finally going to get Gordon Ryan
and Galval.
Yep.
And all of them.
Remember, like, freaking forever and ever and ever. Now it was on Galval's terms. Finally, he was like, I'm not fighting you. I do the ADCC. Yep. If you win the absolute, we'll fight.
Yeah, you have to earn
You got to earn the right to fight.
Which is very like old kung fu movie, right? You have to beat all of my minions.
But also his right
as the champion. Like, that's the
champion.
Like, once you get to the top, you get to make the rules.
And everyone gave him shit about it, but he was like, man, fuck you.
Which for me, like, it always kind of shows the thing, right? Because now, like, the exact same thing was done. I don't really think it's possible to be a champion and fight like you were as an up and comer. It's just too risky.
No, it's not because
I mean, I think Adesanya kind of did it, but that's also part of why Adesanya lost.
But that's the reason you want to maintain, because you don't have to make a name for yourself.
You have the name. You are the name.
You have to take the chances.
Yep.
You got to do the fun. You got to make the highlight reels. You got to be entertaining and loved or hated, because you got to get a name to get the fights to sell the tickets. When you're the champ, you sell the tickets because you're the fucking champ.
Which we can come back to our stories, but in a slight divergence, which I think is the brilliance of what Craig Jones did.
Yeah.
Craig Jones said, I'm not the champ, and I'm probably never going to be the champ, and you're still going to watch
And
me.
exactly.
So
because he's Craig Jones.
Because he's Craig Jones. He made himself bigger. I think that's kind of the same thing that Chael Sonnen did, right? He made himself bigger than being the champion. And so by doing that, he can chill out. He can go and live in Colombia or wherever he is and have a great time and not have to kill himself. Whereas I can't imagine the anxiety of being stomach bug Gordon Ryan at ADCC, knowing that he can't lose. He can't lose. Even though he's dying, he's sweating, he looks horrible. Can't lose.
Right.
Can't lose.
Yeah. He's Gordon. You can say whatever you want to about Gordon.
He did it.
He is an incredible person.
Yeah.
Like an anomaly of a human being. I remember when he beat oh Jesus. Oh my God. ADCC 2 years ago, Buchecha.
That was 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
That was such a great match.
And his hand was putty.
Yeah.
He had his hand, when they showed, his hand was unusable.
Yep.
And he beat fucking Yuri Samoas with one knee.
Yep.
Pena blew out his MC. I remember I saw Pena.
Yeah.
I saw Gordon in the hallway walking with his entourage at this last ADCC, and I came up and said, "Hey, what's up, Gordon, bro? How you feeling?" Because remember he did Pena, and then he did the next thing, doing 2 super fights.
Yeah,
the Maniac.
It was bold.
And he looked at me and he said, "He just got an MRI on my knee, and it's completely shredded."
Which, as you say that's your next level.
That's your next level?
No, you're in your next level because you had cronies.
Right.
When you reach the next level, you'll have an entourage.
Yeah, I have an entourage. Exactly.
Yeah. So you're not there yet.
I'm not quite there.
You're not there yet.
I'm close.
You got cronies.
I'm building.
You got to build to the entourage.
But Gordon, say whatever you want to him. I don't think there are too many people, God, in any sport.
It's incredibly challenging. It's so impressive.
It's all up here. His mental toughness.
Well, I think it's that. It's also mental toughness and obsession, right?
Obsession, because obviously autistic.
When you
or somewhere in that realm.
I mean, maybe. I think most of the high level jiu-jitsu people have, because beautiful thing, autism is a spectrum.
Yeah,
I think we're definitely closer onto that side of the spectrum than we are to the normie side of the spectrum. But or they call it neurotypical and neurodivergent. But I think if you look at the interviews of Michael Jordan, it reminds me a lot. It's that idea that you get so intoxicated with victory that nothing else matters.
Right.
Nothing. Right. They've done interviews Michael Jordan's kids, he doesn't care. He wasn't winning. Winning matters. Not you, son. Sorry. Winning matters.
Right.
And I think Gordon went down that path where nothing else matters beyond the victory. And that's why he wins so much. And that's why I was saying
it's
earlier,
a lonely existence.
It is. But every single freaking hip hop song about it is it's lonely at the top.
Almost unfulfilling. It's an odd. I think it's
that's a really big question. I think you'd have to ask Gordon if he feels fulfilled.
You'd have to ask Michael Jordan
or Michael Jordan as well. Any
guys
of those
that are at that, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, but I think in the case of Jordan, right? After basketball, it wasn't over. Now he's got to win at business.
Yeah.
Now he's got to win at golf. Every golf game he has to win, right?
Got to win at fucking gambling $1 million a hand.
Exactly.
Blackjack.
So I don't think it ever ends. I think you just keep moving the goalposts. Now that I've won this, what's the next biggest thing?
People that have that inside of them never stop striving for that. It's just a part of.
But I wonder if that's. I don't know if it's necessarily nature or nurture. I think it's once you decide you want to be a Gordon Ryan or a Michael Jordan or any of those people, what you don't realize is if you want to be one of those people, you got to become that.
Yeah, you got to become that,
and most people aren't willing
to do.
I'm not to become that.
I have so many people, I have so many conversations with guys that tell me they want to be UFC fighters.
And they don't understand what it means.
It's like, I look at them in the face and I'm like, dude, like, okay. Okay, cool. You want to be UFC? Oh, that's great. Meet me tomorrow morning at 8:30 because that's my free time.
You're very
That's the only
kind
time
to make it 8:30. Most people would make it 6.
Yeah, but that's the only time I have time to be there.
Yeah.
8:30 is my time, so I got to be. Oh, I can't do that. I got to work tomorrow. I got to do that. So, okay,
Exactly.
well, you're already not doing it.
Like all those guys, right? They had GSP used to get on a bus from Canada while he's a garbage man
an
to
obsession.
come to New York. Same thing.
It's an
Gary
obsession.
Tonin and Gordon Ryan would get on that long bus. Craig Jones changed countries. He's
Yes.
from freaking Australia, came all the way to New York. If you want, even though Craig Jones didn't make it, like I remember when he lost to Yuri, he's like, couldn't do it. Yuri's just too strong. He's just too strong. I couldn't do it. But he got there. He got to the dance.
Yeah.
He got to be, as he likes to be, the silver medalist number 2. And like, I think that even that takes a certain degree of the craziness, but to be on top of the top, it's a different degree of madness.
Yeah.
A different degree of madness that I think is required.
Well, that
required
being
to get
said, with the madness, I think we could take the story a little bit more to the desert. But let's,
Yeah.
let's
I'll come back. We'll do the desert story next
We'll
time.
do the desert story next time.
Because
Me and Charles
either
Harriot got
that-
lost in the desert before. We'll leave that.
or we'll
we'll
have
book
to
tag.
just have a new story. I'm
We'll
sure I'll
have,
get
we'll
a
have to
bump
go. I'm
into you.
sure we bump into each other everywhere.
Because that's the cool thing. Like, we don't have to plan seeing each other. Like, the whole
It
reason
just
I'm here
happens.
today is I bumped into you at that tournament.
It just
and
happens.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
It just happens.
I should come see Kevin.
one of my absolute favorite parts of being involved with you. Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and hit my sponsors up, and then I'm going to give you a minute to talk about yourself and
I'd
where
love to.
you've been and where you're at. Real quickly, I'll just talk a few things about some of the sponsors of the show. Now that we're getting things going again, we'll give them a shout out. The first one is going to be Heal Biogenics. Heal is amazing if you're interested in stem cells or any form of rejuvenation systems, peptides. They got it there for you. Hit them up. Heal, they've been a sponsor of the show for a very long time. They're awesome. Check out healbiogenics.com. And then obviously the granddaddy of them all, we mentioned them earlier. We were making a little joke about it. My longtime sponsor, one of my favorite guys in the whole game, Mr. Troy Regano. Troy has been the owner of No Judges Needed for years and years and years. They are a jiu-jitsu gear company. They sell gis, they sell rash guards, they sell shorts, they sell hats, t-shirts.
The most indestructible shorts on the market. I have my first set. It's 10 years old. No, more than that. Probably 12 years old now.
The old school ones go down to the knees.
Yeah. 12-year-old shorts. They still haven't torn. They still look great. And like, I feel bad because I want to buy a second set. I'm like, but why? The first ones still work great.
They are also a jiu-jitsu owned and operated company.
Great quality
great.
products. Great dude.
Also, if you're interested in a little more flashy gear, check out Off Colony. Phil Holt Tattoo Owned Company. They sell some really nice rash guards and gis. You can see them on my social media stuff quite a bit. Really, really high quality things. Really cool looking gis for females. Rash guards in particular. Off Colony. I might get you a set. I'm gonna get you some
Let's
stuff.
do it.
Where I'm gonna set you up. Who else we got? Oh my God, I got so many fucking sponsors. Check out
What
Rewild
a
Charlie
problem.
Keenan, Physical Therapy Charlie Keenan. If you're looking for some dietary stuff, go check out Classic Coach. I think they're called Pivotal now. Pivotal Coaching from your dietitians. Like, I do all kind of shit to keep my old ass body in shape. I'm 48 years old, and it's a hard work process. Go out there and do the things you need to do. Yeah, man. I think we're doing well with that. So BioPro, last one, BioPro. Go check your BioPro out. They've been with me for a long time too. I train the kid's dad. BioPro. So Charles,
Yes, sir.
is there anything you would like to plug? Anything
I
you'd like
would love
the
to.
viewers
I got a
check
couple
out?
of things. So I have some instructions on Fanatics. I got 5 of those out there on leg locks, on framing, on inversions, all kinds of stuff. So if you are a Fanatics head, go buy one of my instructionals. If you really like me, don't use the discount code.
pay full price. It's hard work doing this shit, guys. We need the money.
But at the same time, if you want it, you can still use this. I don't actually care. But like, if you got the loot, by all means. But the other thing is, I got a Patreon, and I was just talking to Kevin about like the interesting thing about my Patreon is that most of jiu-jitsu, they say like it's for blue belts, but what I've had recently is mostly like black belts. I've had board black belts, or like kind of my new customer base, where like I have different tiers of the Patreon. The $25 tier is just, I make a video for you each month, a custom video. And then you also have access to everyone else's videos that are on the Patreon, and you can go look through there. I've made courses. I have some of my seminars are on there from when I've traveled around to various places. Like I've got a guillotine seminar from Asheville, and I have a backtaking seminar from Serbia. So you can get all kinds of cool stuff in there. The $75 tier is that I got a half an hour call with you each month, and we talk about something, and then I make you a custom video based on that half an hour call we had, or you can send me footage of you rolling. And I've been able to help out like, you know, older black belts who are like, dude, I've been doing great, but all of a sudden my younger students are beating me. And I'm like, yeah, well, you've been purposely doing bad jiu-jitsu to let them work for the past 5 years. So you've taught yourself to be worse at jiu-jitsu, to be nice to your students. And now your students got good, but you're still treating them like they're white belts and they're messing you up. You got to retrain yourself to roll hard with them now. And all kinds of fun stuff, for like teaching the old guys some new stuff. I've had a great time with that. That, and I also now, thanks to my buddies in Germany, I've been doing Zoom seminars, which have been doing really, really well. I'll give you a cut rate because I'm doing it over Zoom and not in person. And you and your team, we set up a Zoom, and each person will come back to the camera, and I'll do custom corrections. It sounds crazy, but it goes really, really well. I did my first one over the pandemic, and I got a team out in Germany that are awesome, and I'm doing that. I also am still traveling, less, but I'm still traveling. So I'm going to be in Louisville tomorrow, probably long before this comes out. But then I'll be in Tennessee and North Carolina. And then after that, I'll be in Iceland. Then I'll be around the kind of New England area, so like New York, Massachusetts, that kind of area for a couple of days around the 4th of July. Then I come back home to Florida. In July, I think I'm going to be out in Minnesota and Illinois. So like if you want to book me for a seminar and you're in the US, pretty easy. In Europe, I probably won't be back to Europe until October or November. So sorry, guys. And then Asia, probably not till next year. But yeah, if you want to book me, just send me a message. I think I teach a good seminar, and I'm not a dick. That's my entire. I know jiu-jitsu, and I'm not a dick.
I will give you a good plug and tell you that like Charles is a great jiu-jitsu mind. He is one of the guys that, like myself, has dedicated the vast majority of their life not only to competing and training in jiu-jitsu, but actually teaching jiu-jitsu. Yeah. And there's a big difference to that. And he is an incredible instructor. Every time I've ever had a class with him, and every time I've ever had him teach a seminar, it's impressive from someone that knows jiu-jitsu how well he does at explaining jiu-jitsu. And it's refreshing to see that. Anything you can do, and I'm probably going to hit you up for that 75. I think